everyone's leaning in, but it's hard work. And so that is the endless reality of AI deployment. So you've got this breathless excitement over AI on the one hand, but that this endless reality of diffusing it and getting enterprises to adopt it, etc. And this is, by the way, true at the individual level too. I've written several posts and I've talked about them in recent days about how just as individually, I'm really working hard with a lot of these AI agents and technologies, and I'm very excited about using them. But there is a lot of endless reality, I would say, drudgery. And I've talked about this in terms of the steep learning curve of adopting this, figuring it out, etc. And so we're in this stage, and when you take something that is very difficult at an individual level and multiply it in an enterprise scale, it just takes longer than we like. So those are the two major news items that I wanted to highlight. Again, this will be up in a written form, etc., that you can take a look at in future posts. But I just wanted to highlight these two items. The third thing I wanted to talk about is an extension of something that a theme that I've talked about for a while, for the last couple of years, which is that I've stressed that we are and continue to be in what I call the mainframe age of AI, meaning all the AI compute that we're building are going to be served by these multi-$100 billion investments in AI data centers, etc. If you want to query things from a chatbot or AI agents, you have to talk to a central computer, much like in the mainframe days of computing 40, 50, 60 years ago. And then obviously over 50 years, that transitioned to the personal computer starting in the early 80s, to smartphones today, as we know, where these things are as powerful as a supercomputer of 40, 50 years ago. So we went from mainframe to PCs over, let's say, 5-6 decades. I've said for 3 or 4 years now that we're going to see that cycle, mainframe to PCs and smartphones, compressed to 5 to 10 years, as these things have more capabilities, GPUs, CPUs, memory, to run a lot of AI locally on these devices and on your local computers, like the AIs that run on my Mac Minis here. So that's the good news on that front. The bad news, as I've said in a number of posts, is that because of the current limited scale of manufacturing the semiconductor chips, so it's TSMC for the GPUs in Taiwan, it's SK Hynix, Samsung, Micron to make the memory chips. Those companies are growing as fast as possible, creating multi-billion-dollar fabs, but they don't have enough capacity for the demand for AI over the next 2 or 3 years. So what does that mean? That means there's a big transition of chips being allocated away from local computing for computers and smartphones to the AI side of the equation. And I've written a lot about this. I said that means that prices for computers, prices for smartphones are going to go up. And the third piece of news I wanted to talk about today is we saw more indication of that, which is Microsoft, which is one of the biggest producers of the showcase computers, laptops, called the Surface line, basically had 30, 40, 50% increases in pricing for their top-of-the-line next-generation Surface laptops. So prices generally going from $800-900 to $1,400-1,500. And we've seen this trend all through the last few months. You've seen the Sony PlayStation talk about their prices going up. Microsoft, again, on the Xbox side, increasing prices 30-40%. And this is not just related to trade kerfuffles with China, tariffs and the like. This is actual shortage of chips. And the world is trying to make more chips, but it's not coming on fast enough. So for the next anywhere from 2 to 3 years plus, there's a shortage. And so that slows down the mainframe to local AI computing trend that I've been talking about. So not necessarily in terms of time. I still think we're going to see a lot more local computing over the next 3 to 5 years. But the number of people who are able to upgrade to the more advanced computers and smartphones with higher amounts of memory, storage, etc., are going to be fewer. Now, in a world of 5 billion smartphone users, the numbers are still going to be very large, tens of millions and hundreds of millions. So the stocks, from an investment point of view, will still see big opportunities up and down in these things. But there is a stretching out potential of this mainframe to local AI computing because of this memory and chip price shortage thing and pricing issue that is very now coming into force.